Welcome to me talking about
the him versus her debacle thing
for 5 minutes.
Her has been in front of our faces since she was young, though we didn't know it at the time. Back in 2007, at the age of 10, Gabby Wilson made her television debut on The Today Show. She would also perform at the Apollo Theater that year. This was followed by appearances on Good Morning America and The View, and her first film role in a movie called Schoolgirls, with a Y, get it straight, in 2008. Though she was signed to RCA Records at age 14, she wouldn't really make waves in music until 2011, with her debut EP, Her Volume 1. Not only did she make a deliberate change to a specific slow-burning R&B sound, she changed her entire aesthetic and essentially remained anonymous for the first couple of years of her career, though her name stood for Having Everything Revealed, and is a nod to Common's I Used to Love Her. She would go on to say, "The mystery is a metaphor for who I am, or who I was at the time of creating the project. I feel like oftentimes we don't like to be open as people about our emotions or things that we are going through. At the time of the recording, I was very closed off except for when I was writing or when I was in the studio. I am a voice for women who feel like they're alone in these situations. This project comes from emotion, and that's what I want it to be about. Not what I look like or who I'm with, but the raw emotion and support for women." Later she would say, "I feel like this is the era of the anti-star. I really just wanted it to be about the music and get away from who is she with and what is she wearing. This was a genius idea as the music was high quality and being supported by industry veterans like Pusha T, Usher, Tyrese, Wyclef, Alicia Keys, and Bryson Tiller. But it wasn't just her relative anonymity that made her a top artist. It was the fluency with which she played the piano and guitar, her vulnerable and soulful vocal delivery, and the consistent high quality of her music. 2 months after the release of her debut project, an artist named Him, which stands for Her in Mind, released his debut project, Him Volume 1. The entire aesthetic of the project is an exact copy of Her's concept, with each song on the project being a response to a similar one of hers. People immediately began to assume that the two were connected and outwardly communicating with one another, though Her would never corroborate this, and I don't think Him did either, to be fair. In 2017, Her would release Her Volume 2, followed by Her Volume 2 The B-Sides later that year. Him would follow suit by releasing Him Volume 2, another response album, the deluxe version, and then the instrumentals later in 2019. While it was easy to find out who Her was around this time, Him was still very much of a mystery. So I'm here to clear that up a bit 6 years later. The real identity of Him is an artist named Guylaire, though he was going by the name Him to some extent until at least 2021, as he released several singles and 2 EPs under the name Her in Mind. In mid-2021, he would start up a blog where he'd post lyrics, goals, and other thoughts. He also released his EP, Pronouns, but I'm assuming that's been pulled down, that or it's just really hard to find. I understand the purpose of naming an album Pronouns when your name is Him, but searching Him Pronouns won't likely lead people to the project. It'll probably lead them to, like, grammar. Though Her would never address him directly, in September of 2018, she tweeted, "It's never cool to copy someone's whole concept and call it a response to try to come up. Be you. Be original." Likely in response to the following and buzz that Him was beginning to develop. There was no shortage of artists that had chosen to remain more anonymous at this time. Sia is an artist that has almost entirely removed her physical appearance from all of her music and videos and performances. And even in the 90s, Ghost Town DJs released My Boo while never seeking publicity for themselves or the singer on the track. However, it can't be ignored how closely Him mirrored Her. Though it could just be a coincidence, it's worth pointing out that even one of his subsequent projects made use of Polaroid photos, which was a key element of Her's I Used to Know Her, which was released in 2019. Her would go on to win Best R&B Album and receive 4 other nominations at the 61st Grammy Awards. Her full-length album Back of My Mind, which was released in 2021, spawned the #1 single Damage as well. In 2020, Him would release his single Homebody, and in 2022, he began teasing a new project, The War Love Couldn't Win. Him has a beautiful voice, and his music clearly shows inspiration from SZA, Her, Sunwalker, Bryson Tiller, and others, but he put some people off due to his Her response in 2017 and 2018. Check out my other breakdowns here.